this is recording already. Is it? It is. Okay, cool. So let's continue. Today we wanted to fix an issue that I've left there from the previous time with controls. And we probably need to start the camera rotation. According to our plan, I can remind you about it. Here it is. According to our plan, we're doing controls for PC, we need to fix the drag action, we need mouse scrolling, we need rotation with the mouse. Rotation is an interesting topic to discuss here, because it might not be that easy to do it. The initial project that I'm basically doing the same controls as I've seen there had the following thing. You would drag your cursor to the edge of the screen, and then you'll click the left mouse button, and then you turn around, and it will turn you around the point where you're looking at, like exactly middle of the screen. It is useful when you want to look around some house, for example, but it's not that convenient when you're far away and you look around something and then suddenly this point is somewhere irrelevant and you end up hitting the walls and all that. So there are things to think about in there. And of course there is a new version, because I'm using the alpha version of Unity. It's 2020-10A2 right now for me, and now it's B2. So it's not alpha anymore, I believe, it's beta. But yeah, we'll do it later, not on the stream. Also, I received a comment that code is barely visible because it's a bit too small. So I can... I'm not sure if it can make Unity editor bigger, but I can do... Can I? What? But I can make Visual Studio Code bigger, I hope. Full screen, Zen mode, centered, move, zoom in, control plus equal, control equal. Control minus, like this. Is it visible now? I should make it even bigger. Okay, now we don't see a lot of code at the same moment, but at least we see the code. It's much better than nothing. So let's remember what was here the last time. Yeah, we were able to drag the camera around by selecting a point, and we were able to do this. So the problems around this stuff is the edge of the screen, the fast movement. So if I move my mouse too fast, you can see that it like the ball itself lags behind, and it wouldn't be a problem if not the edge of the screen problem. But that's simple to fix. First things first, we need to fix the bug. The bug was that I have this formula over here. There is division by position y minus camera position y. So previous position y coordinate minus current position y coordinate. That means that if I am under something and I'm for some reason looking up, not exactly up, I'm looking... that's actually an interesting case, but whatever. I'm looking at exactly the same height. I move the hand, let's call it hand, let's be honest, and everything will crash, because division by zero is not something any of those systems support. What I'm thinking about it is that if this thing is too close, don't calculate new position, just get difference. Okay, good, I will do it. First, let's fix this. So if less than 0.0.0, I don't math.f and math.apps. So if absolute value of these things is too small, it doesn't. So it's new position, not even the old one. And what will happen with the old position? All this equation will turn into camera position.z, and this will turn into now the x. So yeah, both of them will be just camera position.x and .z, and this is the old position. So basically it will bug stuff out too. So let's just tweak around this. Math abs old position.y minus camera position.y less than 0.001f. Let's say we add a new file over here, we call it constants. We call this constants. And we say float really small. And we'll put something really small in here. If this really small is not small enough, we will know about it. And we'll fix it easily, without having to go through the entire code. Constants dot really small. This. Then, what is the problem with this? Math.f unknown word. So Visual Studio Code checks spelling, which is nice of it, but every once in a while it highlights something that I really wanted to keep. But slowly I'm building up the user dictionary, so-called, where I'm adding all the stuff that is necessary, more or less. Okay, then if this happens, then we just return. We will not move anything if new position.y or old position.y are weird. Is this the right thing to do? It looks like it is. And now nothing should have changed. That's the interesting point around here. We've done some stuff, but nothing changed. That's good. What is this? What is this bug? Oh, I see. It's getting too close to the front edge of the screen. Now, huh? There is some misalignment? No, there is none. So, if something was misaligned when I'm stopping to click the button, let me turn on the music. I forgot about it. So, when I'm stopping to click the button, the ball should move somewhere, but it doesn't, and we see that the cursor is in the right position. That is a good sign, but like this. I'm adjusting the volume for the music. So, but with this thing, if we go far away, far enough away, oh, I see. It just, the really tiny movement will, okay, like this. It's just that the tiny movement will bring us really far. So it's not a bug, it's a feature. Let's keep it. Then, I'm calculating difference. I don't need the new position at all. Which means alt position, alt position, hand transform position, camera position, position. So let's think if it makes any sense to calculate the difference. So it's alt position dot y minus this. I'm looking for a way to optimize this a bit, but most likely it will not happen. It's x. .x. So, and here it's minus. So with camera position.x we cannot do anything useful. With position.y minus camera position.y, it will be this multiplication over here. And we'll need to divide by it in the end. So, like this. Move this here. We multiply by this. Multiply the whole thing by this. And we put it under these brackets. And let's see if there is something in common between them. So let's rearrange this a bit, so we see them in the same sequence, like this. Which means position, alt position means y. So they look different enough so that nothing can be simplified around here. So we'll have alt position.x in this part and camera position.x in this part. So the only thing that will be simplified is minus is that camera position.x multiplied by camera position.y will disappear, but everything else will stay here. So there is basically no reason to bother and change this logic. This to-do can be removed. Okay, good. Now we have fixed the bug and we can close the task. Let me move it here, basically. So drag action is done. Mouse scrolling for height. Why did I put it before rotation? Because yeah, it should be before the rotation. That's true. Camera scroll for height. So the original version supposed to click and hold some buttons to scroll, like clicking and holding both the buttons at once, and then you move the cursor around and it will make things closer or more far away. I'm not sure it really makes sense in our case, because that was designed for a situation where people not necessarily have both mouse buttons or the scrolling wheel or anything at all. We usually have the wheel, and people are used to using that. And we can always remap this into something more useful. So okay, it's pure camera thing. It's late update, and we should move this to late update too. Also, we should not allow this movement. Maybe it's easier to just prohibit it entirely. So the problem with this movement is that it will intersect with the hand movement, which means if we're doing both at the same time, stuff will not work. Yeah, stuff will become terrible. That is bad. I don't want that to happen. Then the second thing. So let's just remove this part. Also, given that the speed was quite weird, I don't think we should pursue this item, this piece of code. It didn't do a good job, we don't need it anymore. Let's think about scrolling wheel. If input gets scroll axis joystick, no, nothing, none of that. Let's go to Google again. Oh, no. Let's go to Google again. We need to search for Unity's scroll wheel. Unity, yeah. Implementing the scroll wheel. And so shows the right thing, but saying simple code and then post a script is 98% release stuff is not really good answer. I guess found get axis is the deltas of a number that represents how the axis changed since the previous time. Oh yeah, this stuff is fancy. I did that at some point and that was terrific. Okay, we have the code, we just clone it, then mouse scroll wheel, nah, it's not this big thing. Private constraint mouse scroll wheel axis name equals mouse scroll wheel. These things tend to change, that's why we shouldn't hard code it like this. We should do this stuff. And then what we should do on the scroll and wheel, I say we should move camera in the forward direction of the camera, but it's not necessarily true. Maybe we should move camera in the hand direction, because we're combining this movement with this thing and we're locking the hand into single place, and this might get terribly wrong, but let's try. It's called, so I would assume that camera is connected to PC controls, because why wouldn't it? Transform dot position plus equal d multiplied by speed. Basically I will still need this speed stuff. Speed multiplied by transform forward. If d if math that x of d is bigger than constants really small. So if it's not just changing a bit, if it's more or less changing, then we should do it. I'm not sure what exactly this d can be, because it's in some range. I believe it's -1 to 1, but I might be terribly wrong, because scroll and wheel is not restrained axis. It's restrained for console controllers, the sticks, but maybe not for scroll. Let's just try it. Yeah, you see we're slowly moving. Let's move faster. 2. Whoa. That was not what I expected. I wonder why this happened. 2, 5. Something's wrong. When I'm clicking from the outside, stuff just breaks apart. And this, what is this? Because I'm colliding with the camera itself, because I've attached a character controller to it. Oh, I see. Let's just disable it for now. No. Let's move it to a different layer. It's not water, it's ignore recast for now. So the camera itself shouldn't be a part of recasting mechanism. And of course I didn't save this change. So we should move this speed to configuration. What is happening? That's some Unity bug, not related to my code. But yeah, more or less now it works. And so let's try. Oh yeah, I still cannot hold something that is higher than the camera because I cannot yet modify the angle. So what I was talking about is this. And if I show you the cursor, the mouse, real one, then if I move like this, it still works fine. It's just a bit shaky. So I'm getting closer to this exact point. But if I'm not holding, then I'm moving around. Okay. What we can do in this case is something more interesting. If the hand dot is grabbing, okay, let's go there. I'm not exposing anything that would tell if I'm grabbing or not. Yep, I'm not. Okay, and the bow is grabbing. It doesn't matter if I'm grabbing with left or right. Turn left hand dot is grabbing. False. Or right hand is grabbing. False. Like this. What? Bool and bool question mark. No bool question marks for me, please. Like this. Awesome. And now if the hand is grabbing, then public static vector 3 get position. I really don't want people to grab. I really don't want other parts of code to grab the hand itself. I just don't. Bool left, false. And let's return get hand left dot transform dot position. And of course let's do this like this. Like this. So something might go wrong. I'd rather be safe than sorry in this case. Target position equals the hand dot get position, and position is not null. You know, if target position is null, that's terrible. We're in such a huge trouble that we shouldn't care anymore. So yeah, okay, let's not do this. That's too much. And transform dot position equals target position minus transform dot position dot normalized multiplied by forward vector 3 forward, and here it's equal to this, else it's equal to transform forward. I don't want to repeat the formula. This. And yeah, of course it's highlighting this because I need a better name, and I need the normalized. So I'm doing the normalization because we don't know how far the point from where we are right now, which means it can be really far, then the speed will be really high, or vice versa. We don't want to go through that trouble. What will happen right now is when we don't have anything selected, we will scroll into the point we're looking at, more or less. Because that kind of makes sense. You're making stuff closer, you're making stuff more far away, makes sense. But if you're holding somewhere, then you will move in the direction of the place you're holding. Because it also makes sense. Like, I don't think many people will ever do this. I actually think no one will ever do this, but someone who will, he will find out that it's not shaking, it looks much better. Good. Shaking is gone. We won against it. Now the interesting part comes. So we've done the mouse scrolling. Rotation. Let's think a bit about rotation. First option is clicking, for example, I want to say hold the scrolling wheel, like click it and hold it, but it's so bad. I usually hate this so much, because I'm not used to clicking scroll wheel. I just cannot do this. Yeah, they do the same. That's funny. Second option is to click two buttons somewhere. Like you click the left mouse button, then you click right mouse button, and then you move to the side, and it will rotate you clockwise or counterclockwise. Problem here is that the cursor will move and will not be able to do anything about it without using the user 32 DLL, whatever that stuff is. Which we don't want to. If it's possible to avoid dealing with C++ DLLs, we want to avoid doing that. Yeah, and with the mouse at the corner, it's not a problem, but it's just not that convenient to use. Yeah, and even if I allow clicking the middle mouse button, that will not help in this case. So let's analyze what do we have. What are the options? First, side of the screen. Pros, cons. Second, middle, same button and strange cursor. Pros, cons. Third, I don't know. Pros is that no user 32 deal. It's easier to implement. More obvious on where the screen will rotate. Oh yeah, I forgot this little desk. Do something with hand when it's out of bounds. Thank you, the core. More obvious on where the screen will rotate. Cons. It's not obvious what we're rotating around. And that's basically all the cons in there. Here everything is vice versa. We know where we're rotating around, but again, if it happens somewhere here, for example, I click this button and I start turning around, where will I move? I guess we just need to test this. Yeah, the indicator is a possible thing, though it will be some pointer right in the middle of the screen, which sounds a bit weird. Like, it's possible, but I wonder what will happen if I'm rotating not around the middle of the screen. I'm not sure I ever I have ever seen that in any game. So let's just try it out. I wonder what will happen. So grab, ungrab, let's keep those, but let's add... I want to add some hack, some non-beautiful hack to do something about this. For example, here. Let's say if we're holding both buttons, then we'll try to rotate around. One, turn, and of course to move this code out of here. What we should do, we shouldn't care about new position anymore. We should just care about... still this difference will do something useful for us. We'll just do some normalization on top of it, add some speed up, and probably transform it into something better. Okay. Equals diff dot. So we have the following coordinates. That is no, they are not relevant. Their own coordinates are not really relevant, because in some case I will be looking from one side, in some case from the other. Let's say I only care about their distance and I just want to see what will happen. diff.normalized. Let's say that if some random axis is positive, so greater than 0, then we'll rotate in one direction, and other way around we'll rotate in the other direction. Let's search how we rotate one thing around the other. There was a special command for that in Unity. Round point. Transform.rotate around. Vector 3 up. Spin the object around the world origin at 20 degrees per second. Okay. Camera, main, transform, rotate around, transform, position. No, this transform, position. And so the point. Then I need the axis. It's vector 3 dot up. And angle, let's say, do this. And angle will be direction greater than 0. 1 minus 1. Will multiply by 20. I think something like this. What is wrong with this one? Transform attached to an object reference is required for non-static field. Oh, okay, yeah, obvious. Hand dot transform. Okay, now I can test what will happen if we rotate around some random point on the screen. Because if it doesn't work, then it just doesn't work. And what is happening? It doesn't listen to me. Oh, yeah, of course. get mouse button. Because it was rotating only at the moment when I would click the button, or when I would click the button. That's not what I expected. And yeah, also I'm changing this. No, I'm not. Sorry. Okay. What? What is all this shaking about? Probably that's because I'm using something wrong for direction. Basically, that looks better than I expected. Still bad, but better. So let's try to calculate the directions properly. So when I move left, let's say, now, first, let's put 2 over here. What I'm hesitant about is the real cursor position. Yeah, so this is what's happening. Up, 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 up. I'm flying around places. It will be just impossible to explain to user what is happening and why. I mean, imagine you're not seeing the mouse cursor, and you just moving sideways, and the whole thing just turns around. Will it be? Oh yeah, I've poured around 5 hours into this by this moment. So, and it's just regular terrain, some random changes, some random assets. I didn't do that much around this. And after the terrain creation, I'm still playing with controls. I can't say I hate the idea. Like, it should work somehow. But do I want to invest time in this? Because I'm building a prototype right now, but the controls is quite a crucial part of whatever you're doing. If you're doing something more or less new and less explored, and these hand gestures and stuff, like, I haven't seen many games who do this, and the games they did, I didn't like how they did. Click an area and use an arrow keys to rotate around. Click on an area and arrow keys. That adds extra arrow keys, and for modern strategic games, using the hotkeys is a good thing, and it actually might work, but the arrow keys are really far from your left arm. It will work for consoles. Like, it will really work for consoles. It will work really well in there. And that's how I will do it for consoles. But for PC, I guess... So, yeah, sorry, you don't have the pre-history of whatever is happening. I'm making a strategic game where you're a god and you have this hand and you drag yourself with the hand around and you throw fireballs at stuff and you raise a village and like you conquer other villages by making them believe in you. You might think of one game that was released somewhere in 2000, 2001 that was not really that popular, but I loved it so much. And I really miss it. Like, I hope someone would have done this before I even started, but whatever. So, yeah, the camera rotation is useful because if we have a terrain like this, there are some points you cannot look into, and like being an almighty god that cannot look in some places sound just ridiculous. So it should be more or less convenient to do this stuff. But think to begin with I should just stick with the initial version of controls, and then think of something better if time comes. Like, if something comes better. Or... Basically it's possible to show around the hand the direction you're moving in, and the more far away you move, like so you hold and then you slightly move, and it will highlight that you will move in that direction or this direction, and it must be fine. Huh. So not letting the cursor go too far, or even letting it go far. Will I care? Okay, let's try. I want to... I'm thinking of a spherical rotation around this point, but no, it will not work. Okay. I want to identify the y-axis of movement in the screen coordinates. Let's move this block out of here, because it's done what I wanted it to do. Now, here, let's say private void process, drag, and ray, input, grab and grab. Nah, all the code is so deep. When you click, you can make a circle. More to indicate movement right. Yeah, that's also what I'm thinking. So I will show a circle around. I'm just thinking if it should be a circle or a line with just two directions. With one direction I will show that I will rotate clockwise, with the other I will show that I'm rotating anti-clockwise. Or yeah, it's even better. I can show the circle somewhere, and then you move. I will need more buttons for that. So if I use the middle button, for example, then if I say that I'm fine using the middle button, then with two buttons, not too much. So I'm thinking that the rotation is the movement inside of that circle. So let's open this. Let's say we have a circle, and inside this circle we have arrows, like this direction and that direction. And when the user points, he selects the spot he wants to rotate around, and he moves there, and then he moves the cursor like this. It will spin his camera around, and when he does the full circle, it will complete the full circle, and vice versa. If he moves the other way around, like, it will move the other way around. But what issues will it bring? I don't see any major issues around this. The only problem is that he'll have to move slightly from the center, because so I will have to draw two circles. What? This? I'll have to draw two circles, concentric ones, like a donut, because anything that's inside the inner circle will not do any movement at all, and anything outside will start spinning. Because otherwise in the middle the sensitivity will be too high. Okay, good. That sounds good. Now, how to implement that? First, he needs to hold both the buttons at the same time, because I will need an interaction button, and I cannot dedicate any button to rotation. I don't trust the mouse scroll. The scroll button means, yeah, both simultaneously. And this rotation thing should be a pure UI thing, I think. Should it? Yep, it should. And yeah, it will be somehow transformed to console style, because you will just hold two buttons and you will use one of the sticks. It's almost the same stuff. So okay, let's try doing something about this. Want to add to the object sprite. I'm thinking of clicking on the stick to open this and rotating with the other stick, something like that. Or I don't like the concept of clicking and rotating and turning the stick around at the same time. That doesn't work that well. But you can hold, for example, both triggers and then turn with one of the sticks, or the same stick you use for hand movement. Both will work. So there are options. I haven't yet thought about them properly. I should, but again, not today. Right now I'm making a prototype for just PC, because that's how prototypes are made. You don't care that much. You think about you think how you will do it somewhere, but you don't think it through that much, in my opinion, at least. I believe there are some pros who will disagree, and I'm not a pro, to be honest. Okay, this process drag is a drag. Okay, the grab and ungrab stuff will fix the camera. Then let's do this. Where's private static over here? Let's move it up. This, and now private is rotating. False. And if this get mouse down, get mouse up. Okay, yep. If input get mouse button down one. Let's just get mouse button without down. And the hand is grabbing. We will enter some specific state. We'll call it process rotation. Okay, so we'll do private void smooth. It will be this. And yeah, and the precast and the ray. Why is the ray so far? Okay. Process regular move, and let's process it. The hand grab, ungrab. I will still need the down and up, so I can enable and disable the wheel itself that I'm trying to show. Then this is rotating equals handed grab is grabbing, of course. It smells like someone is cooking something with chocolate. Oh, my wife is. Whoa. You're cooking something with chocolate. No. I can smell the chocolate. Yeah, sorry. that was just that was just a really tasty smell of chocolate. You can show it if you want. Here it is. Here it is. Where? Here. Yeah, like this. Thanks. Now people who are watching this will also want to eat something. In the night. Okay. Is rotating equals is grabbing, and now if I get a mouse button up, one is rotating equals false, and here we'll say that is rotating equals false. Okay. And here, let's say we'll have something like rise rotation wheel. And hide rotation wheel. I don't yet have this stuff implemented, but who cares? I will use it. Then if is rotating, then I will move this down so it doesn't get in the way. It says rotation. I'm really not following a single code style. You see, here I'm not using this, and here I'm using this. It makes the code look a bit inconsistent. It's still fine, I just don't really like it. Okay. Let's create a wheel. Unity UI element. Integrate UI wheel. Make a steering in Unity 3D wheel collider tutorial. UI circle, whatever. Primitives on new UI canvas. So I will need to create the UI canvas, and I will need to add some stuff in there. Wow. Okay, that's quite some code. I expected something much smaller. UI text image row button toggle slider drop down input field canvas panel scroll view. I don't remember. UI structure. As I remember, it should be panel. Then on top of that, I should put. It should be canvas. Then on top I should put other stuff. Okay. Game object UI canvas. It's rotation wheel. Event system. Hello, event system. Okay, the event system captures my mouse movements and clicks and all that. It might get into conflict with whatever I'm doing in there, but canvas is the area, the canvas is game object with canvas, create a new UI element image. As I remember, I don't have to put, actually shouldn't put canvas on my main camera. Main UI canvas. Yep, that's a huge stuff. Blocking objects none, everything, scale factor, target display 1. Okay. Additional shader, screen space camera. Okay, so let's see this. Okay, now this thing will get smaller. It will be in the camera space. It still doesn't tell me how to output stuff in there. Let's create UI. So let's begin with something really simple. I'll put some image. Okay, the image can be moved left, right, or whatever, but first let's nope. Nope. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Position X, Y. Hey, why don't you let me move this stuff around? Come on. Okay, so let's keep with this. Nope. So the current problem is that it will get hidden behind anything, and if I do it in overlay mode, then it will not. Though I will need to transform stuff into screen coordinates, and I personally I just hate this. Like, you see this huge object, it's just impossibly huge, just ridiculously huge, and I cannot do anything about it. Okay, image, it will be the paging wheel. Let's say that this thing will say that it knows something about canvas render image. Nah, I need the object type of this entire thing. Public rotating wheel, it's UI something image. I know that it should be called UI something, but image now. It should be really simple. I know I've seen this. So those people seem to be using some old version of Unity that I was using at some point. Yeah, it's 2015. It's probably the same year when I was working with Unity, and it's not relevant because since then the Unity UI have changed drastically. Like, now it's a proper good thing to work with, not that terrible stuff that we had. Even though I'm having some problems with this right now. Let's say we make it semi-transparent. Let's say we make it something with some color. Okay, it doesn't care about... It does care about the color. It's just me being a bit ignorant. Okay, good. Okay, now Unity UI from script. Creating UI elements from script. Really? Okay. Something a bit more helpful, please. Canvas render direct transform button image. So it's just called image. So it's just image. I don't believe that, because there is no such thing as image in here. Unity, I believe 2019 has the same as 2020 UI script. Script and API text. UI classes image. I want this. Displays a sprite class in Unity engine.ui. Inherits from. Okay, so it's Unity engine.ui.image. .ui. No? The elements image. Okay. Well, image. I'll need to put something in here. So let's say here we say, okay, I'm not using this. Set enabled true. Set enabled false. Then I will need to move it somewhere. I don't really need any anchors for this stuff, because I will programmatically put something in there. So 0.5, 0.5, it's the middle of the screen. Then I will need to calculate the distance from the middle of the screen to this point. Which is fine. Okay, that is fine. I'm just wondering what this is measured in. It's 0.5, okay. So if I move this anchor somewhere, okay, let's do this. 0. Show this to me, please. Okay, the editor around UI is still not perfect. So I see this, and I cannot move this in this state. Come on. Oh, I can. Position, width, height. Okay, so we can grab it from there. But will image dot canvas dot parent dot width. Nope. Okay. Screen dot width. Okay, screen dot width. That will do, because width is always some integer. It's really highly unlikely to be float. Okay then. Let's do this. Let's put anchors for this stuff into 0, 0, 0, 0. Wait a sec. What is pivot? 0, 0, 0, 0. And let's put it into where it is. Okay, so everything's on 0, means it will be still somewhere because of the size of this exact image. But I'm fine with that, because I can have access to all this stuff. Good. Now, let's say our mouse position equals input mouse position. I believe mouse position should only contain x and y coordinates in here, not anything else. Which lets me do some nasty tricks. We'll set it enabled at the end. I will say wheel image position equals mouse position minus wheel image minus new vector 3 wheel image dot what rect transform dot what I transform rect the source rectangle inside the texture relative rect content dot width divided by 2 0 wheel image contact rect dot height divided by 2. So the problem is that I need sometimes to subtract it, sometimes I need to add this, depending on the actual position, because if the... No, anchors, everything's about anchors in this life. The middle of the screen will always have space for this stuff. Pivot is 0.5, 0.5. Yeah. Oh, I see what is happening there. That is so nice. Now it will be in the proper position, and then I will just say wheel image dot rect dot position equals input dot mouse position. Is not assignable because it's not a variable. Nice. Form dot position equals mouse position, because mouse position dot z equals 0. Let's try it in this. And yeah, this stuff should be hidden in the beginning, and main camera, this script should know about that. What? What? Eh? You don't want to know about this? PC control, speed, hands layers. Awesome. This doesn't work. Okay, good. Rect says pivot information. Transform. I don't really care that this stuff. Okay, even worse. I will call it game object. And the game object... What? What? Set active. Set active. Let's do this. I'm not sure that it's exactly how it works, because the UI system is completely different from any other systems there are in Unity. So in this exact case, I might be terribly wrong, and most likely I am. But nay, I'm not that much wrong. For some reason my... Wow, what happened? Yay, thank you for the follow. Most likely I done the process rotation and return over here. Good. Okay, so now we positioned... Oh yeah, and for a bit more context, I've worked with Unity at some point in my life, but now I'm trying to remember stuff. Okay, good. So now we can show this circle. Now we need to show a point on the circle. Let's say we need UI, one more image. Yeah, there will be a better way to do this, but right now 2 images sound just right. It will be a knob, it will be a small one, 5 on 5, let's say. Let's enable this one. Let's look at the game camera. Let's move it somewhere better so we can see it. 300. No, 300 and 300. Here it is. And let's make this knob, let's say, no. Let's make this knob some decent color. Something that will not be too distractive, but still will work. Okay, good. This knob should move restrained inside that circle. But, of course, I'm not careful enough for that. So, game object, nope. Then I'll need the relative position at some point. Oh, I wonder... Yeah, okay. So this thing has position relative to the initial circle already, which means that I will need to save the initial circle position and vector3 mouse position, and I will need to save it right here, equals mouse position. Why am I doing this? Mouse position.z is equal to 0 anyway. Then input mouse position minus say, what did I call it? Initial mouse position, and knob dot transform dot position equals diff. Now this knob will move inside this circle. It was not restrained to this circle at all, but like, do we really care? Yay! The variable knob has not been assigned, of course. I forgot this. Let's start. No? Oh yeah, because I'm setting transform dot... I'm setting global position here. There is transform dot local position. That's what I want. So I've put one under the other, which means that if I move one of them, the other will get moved. If I move the parent, then the kid will move. But now I can move the kid in local coordinates or in global ones. And yeah, I'm setting the local ones, and that looks good. Okay. I should restrain movement to the inside of this circle, but it will include again working with that user32 DLL and whatever, like with C++ stuff. We don't want to deal with that at all. But I'd like to have a second wheel inside of this one. Let's call it something like limiting wheel. No. And it will have the same size. What? 100, 100. It will have white color. Sounds good. It will be more transparent. Why will it have the same size? It will not, of course. It will be more transparent, and we'll say that it's 50x50, 50. 30, 30. Those numbers are way too abstract, because, like, if I make this thing full screen... Oh, crap. It will disappear right now. Will it? Oh, no, everything's good. Everything's fine. So, those numbers are really too abstract, because if I make it this way, they will stay the same size, but on different screens they will look differently, because you see they're taking the same amount of space. I should introduce scaling for the entire UI at some point, but it doesn't work really well, to be honest. At least it didn't work really well, and I don't think it should ever work well. Edit transforms, they are not rotated and scale that enables snapping to raw when enabled editing. Okay, that doesn't matter. So this size will be fixed regardless of the screen size of user, which is terrible, because it should scale, because like the bigger monitor you have, probably the bigger this thing should be, and it should scale. But whatever, let's just keep it as is for now. Again, we're building a prototype, we're not yet building the entire game. Then we will need something like vector3 plus knob position. And then if knob is if this position is not, so we'll call it vector3.0. Then we'll need the limiting wheel. Because no. How do I get the limiting wheel size? It's transform position, transform position. So there was a point where I needed that size. That was something like rect something rect transform. So let's do this. Rect transform limiting wheel. I only care about size of this. That's it. It can change throughout the game because configuration and whatnot, but in general I only care about this. If diff.magnitude is bigger than limiting wheel dot honestly, nah. Public float limiting wheel says 50 bigger than limiting size wheel. If previous knob position is not equal to vector3.0 is okay. If it's equal, then it will be and return. But then, if it's not, move up, down, forget, remember. I'm thinking if I should put something else in here. I mean, some point that will tell where the previous position was, but I don't think so. It's too much of a trouble to go through. It's not too much. It's one line of code of trouble, but whatever. So yeah, I was thinking of showing an extra, like, let's say, purple spot on the point where I'm tracking from, because when user gets from the outer circle into the inner circle, I will stop rotating the camera, which will make it not obvious where the camera will land the next time. Thing I can do is I can say else here previous position equals vector 3.0, and then if he moves from the outer circle into the inner, I wouldn't care anymore. Okay. Then now I need angle between. Vector 3 dot angle between. What is the difference? The angle in degrees between from and to the vector from which the angular difference is measured to the vector to which. Okay. How are they different? Okay. Let's say from is from previous into current, angle equals, and let's do this. Transform, rotate around. So it's previous mouse position, but I need the hand position. So it's what was that? That stuff. The hand and dot position around vector 3 dot up. The angle transform about axis pattern through the point in world coordinates by angle degrees. Okay, so it's the same angle. Something like this. This. And the size is set to 50, so it should work. It should just work. I will be surprised if it does. Of course it doesn't, because why would it? Oh, I see what I did wrong. Okay, so first, this is not right. Magnitude is the distance. This is radius. Why is it not right? 100 x 100. So yeah, they are 100 x 100. Why do I have to move outside? Oh yeah, 100. No. What? 50. Okay, good. It's 25. And probably I will need to change it right here. And I hope it synchronizes to prefab. What I have around here is a set of prefabs. Player, main camera, the hand, and I have the terrain somewhere. Yeah, prefabs. I have main terrain in here, and I want them all to stay synchronized all the time, because I just don't want to change them every time. Apply all. And I want to be able to move them to a different scene. I want to be able to reuse them everywhere without ever having to think about what happens next. Okay, so it's 25, it's 25. Individual items to review, revert and apply. Come on. Oh, I see, I cannot do this because it's not part of main camera. I guess this should work. I guess. So some values are driven by canvas, means this thing should not move regardless where it's connected to. So this should work. I will not yet apply this. Yeah, we can move the camera, we'll see. Okay. Okay, yep. So this thing, we can apply this, then we can in-game HUD available. Apply all. Good, now everything's default. I like default stuff. So the problem I'm facing here is that I'm applying this only if it's vector 3.0, which is incorrect. I should do any actions in here, and then I should always change the previous position. Otherwise, I keep rotating. Let's run this. Okay, we're moving in the same direction regardless of anything, which is not nice. Yeah, and the inner circle is a bit too big. So let's put 30 over here. I don't know why I care about these things, even though I keep repeating that all this stuff will change sometime. But I like stuff to work the way intended. And the problem is with this angle. This angle, angle between should be this. No. Is obsolete. Use vector radians instead of degrees and was deprecated for that reason. That is a good reason. I remember using angle between. Good. But problem with this vector 3.angle is that it doesn't return me the sign. Unity and angle between two vectors signed. Vector 3.signed angle. They have this .signed angle. Wow, they're such good guys. And the axis in here will be the angle facing camera. So it's -1 in Z coordinate. Z coordinate is usually left and right. So left. No, it's top and bottom. Okay, sorry. Vector 3 dot up top dot what are the up, forward, XYZ, backward? Yeah, back. This. Now this should work. I remember I had to use the real mathematical formulas to get this angle. Like, I had to do all this. I had to manually multiply the vectors, and that was quite bad. Yeah, it works now. And the entire circle is not exactly right. Yeah, And I know why. Because this should be the angle between this dot normalized and this dot normalized. Otherwise it doesn't work. Hey, how are you? For some reason normalized values work even worse. Nah, they're working fine. Yeah, everything's fine now. That's awesome! Yay! Now we have the controls. So, problem is that, for example, right now, you see that I have some bug somewhere. Yeah, because I did that. Okay. So I skipped the validation somewhere, that I still have this button up. Oh yeah. So it's if is rotating, this, and here again it's and is rotating. I can store the is grabbing in here too, cause like whatever, grabbing, rotating, why not store them both? But this stuff works right now. The is grabbing is useful for VR, for consoles, for whatever. So I keep in this file for PC only, something that is really specific to the PC, and for now it seems to be quite consistent, so let's keep it this way. And yeah, I have one extra call, but that doesn't matter too much. So if I click in the opposite, like right mouse button first and then left mouse, thank you for the follow. Wow, thank you for the viewers, thank you very much. So, for the context of people, I'm making a strategic game on Unity, where you will be a god, you will throw fireballs and do all that, and you move around with your hand, and you let you have villages. Your villages will live because you support them, or maybe they will live on their own, and you can claim, you can grab, you can capture other villages by making them believe in you. You can remember one game that was about that from 2001, 2002, 2000, something like those years. But I'm really just beginning. I've poured, yeah, that's the right game. I'm trying not to say this loud, because I'm not sure if I can get some consequences for that. But whatever. So I've poured around 5 hours right now into the project there, and you can see the previous stream where this happened, where I was doing the beginning for controls. Oh, this broke. Yeah, this broke. Because, okay, yeah, it depends on how I let the mouse buttons go. But yeah. So now I'm done with controls, I think. There is this small little bug I have to fix, because I'm ungrabbing and I stop rotating, but I'm not hiding the wheel. And I just hate this part of the code. It looks terrible. I need to do something about it. Something really small and something really short. Let's move this inside here. Let's move this. Yeah! Hey Foxy! You see, there are some people watching me. That's so nice. I need to move this thing around too, because that feels wrong. Yeah, and thank you for the follow. Thanks everyone for following me. It really means much, because I don't yet have many followers, I don't have many viewers, and I don't have many streams yet, let's be honest. So I really appreciate everyone who's here. Thank you so much. But still this part of code looks terrible. Let me just move it out so I don't see it at least. Right mouse button. This. So I can call hide rotation wheel as many times as I want. It won't change anything ever. So I will call it a lot. Here I need to say that previous knob position is vector 3.0. I cannot imagine a way where this will be necessary, because you always start in the middle, but I know people can do stuff, and I'm one of the I'm one of those people who tend to break stuff if it's breakable. So late update, here we should do the what was that? Says right mouse button, and here I will do left mouse button. Is rotating. I don't have to set this. Okay, now this part of the code looks much better. It's still terrible down below, but it's not here. Then if it's rotating, then process rotation. I still need to process right mouse button. Is that right? Yep. I still need to process both the buttons. Then if I'm rotating, I can do this. Slightly optimize. Nah, don't want to. Good. We're done with this part of controls, I believe. We've done the rotation with mouse. We kept in mind that we need interaction button. We still have right mouse button. That should work. Yeah, I have a small plan here in Trello about what I'm planning to do next, more or less. Do something with hand when it's out of bounds. So right now we're having a slight problem still. It's that if we move the mouse out of bounds of the screen, it stucks. There are many options on what we can do about this. Wait a sec. Oh yeah, I can rotate, but I still cannot move up or down. So I cannot do this motion for the camera. That's slightly unexpected. How do I want to do this? I cannot reuse the same control. I already have it for something. Okay, whatever. Out of bounds. Out of bounds, out of bounds. Those two issues are actually related in a major way. So, for example, if I say move hand, grab, ungrab, whatever, below move hand, public, static, void, hide, left, false, and I do this. And dot game object set active false, and here And let's say private pool is enabled. String. So I'm not sure that this set active is clever enough. Activates, deactivates dependent on the given true false state. So I will just store this value. Is enabled. Then we'll do this. Those low-level optimizations are not often necessary, but are still good to have. And at some point you get into a situation where you need that a lot. And dot here. And dot is enabled equals true. If it's not enabled, then here the true. Okay, now it should disappear when it's out of bounds. It should appear back. Of course I didn't yet code that part, so it should be in process regular move, the hand, move hand, else the hand at hide. That's it. But as usual, there are some but things. Okay, we're moving out, it smoothly disappears, then it appears back. I can click outside of the bounds, which is not helpful. So let's say that I cannot grab outside the bounds. Which kind of makes sense. And that is enabled. Return. And ungrab, we can repeat ungrab as many times as we want, so we're good there. Okay, but now, one more camera rotation direction. What to do about this? Again, in the game I was talking about, it was quite simple. It was really simple. You would scroll, you would lift the mouse up and you will move it around. I would all the time miss it. I will always do something wrong about this thing, because I will move mouse up, I will grab, and I will figure that I'm rotating the screen instead of moving it up and down, and that was not nice. Yeah, actually, I don't really even need the circles. It's quite simple. Okay, let's keep the circles, whatever. I can draw the arrows on them for it to be more obvious, but that doesn't matter. But if I changed this movement, then maybe there is some good idea on what to do with camera pitch. Is it called pitch? I can never remember if it's pitch, yaw, or what was the third thing. So I can move the camera around this spot, and I can actually use the same control for this. But problem is that when you rotate around, we need to try this, because it just works. The magnitude will tell the camera position in the other angle. Oh yeah, so you missed this thing. I've made a better code around this, And now we can rotate around any place, and it looks good. It works. Even the outer circle doesn't sound necessary, and yeah, inside the inner circle it doesn't move. The outer circle doesn't sound necessary anymore. There should be just some arrows to highlight that we're moving somewhere, and usually the less interface you have, the better it is. So I can remove the outer circle. I'm thinking to keep it for now, for unknown to me reasons. Yeah, and the full rotation is actually the full rotation. It's 360 degrees, regardless on how you move. Only if you move through the center, then you can, you will restart your rotation. It looks really good. Thanks for the advice, that was cool. But now I'm having a different problem. I need to adjust camera in this motion. Like this, or something. So I can view from the different angle. The initial controls from that game was like you'll grab here and you'll scroll down. This shouldn't work for us anymore, because we're changing these controls. I'm thinking that distance from the initial hand position should modify this. But I need to try this. If it's done smoothly, then it might work. But it might not. It's like if I'm moving up... okay, I see why it wouldn't work. Because I have some position already, and if I make magnitude to scroll in one direction, then it will not scroll in the other direction, and vice versa. That's actually what I have right now for this wheel. It appears if I click left and hold right. Because with left only, we're just moving around. So, not that easy. Something more complex. We still have the middle button, which we can hold and do that. But I was trying as hard as possible to avoid this. Also, I can map all those buttons to keyboard, and if you hold some keyboard button, it will do the same. And it will be rather helpful, actually. Right click will be interaction. I need to keep something for the interaction. You just not only move, you also have to do stuff. Given that we can map everything to the keyboard, we can actually use the scroll wheel button. I believe it's number 3, and it will be a thing on its own. Okay, let's try at least how it works. Grab and grab, get grabbing, blah blah blah. It's about the hand, and we want to think about this. So input, get mouse button down, get mouse up and up, height, process, okay. Let's add one more thing. Yeah, and I've slightly modified the code around. I've hidden all the worst parts into separate functions. So now the late update looks better, and every single function looks nice. It's just when you see them together and you see that they're repeating each other heavily, you see that something is wrong there. Okay, so let's process this middle button, and is rotating. Then this thing, let's say that right button will return boolean, and it will return is rotating. Then I can do this. I need to... Do I need to press this left one? No. Down, it's grab, ungrab. Okay, so the middle button will work on its own. We'll put it into Boolean 2. And we'll call it something different. Process camera down. Camera pitch. And I will rename it into the proper name when I figure what the proper name is. And this should return Boolean, and this should say and this should say process camera pitch and return. So we don't care about right mouse button if we're clicking middle mouse button, which is not right, because we can do it in the middle of everything else. Okay, so let's do this. If the hand is grabbing, or if is rotating, we just return false, because that will be too much otherwise. Then we'll I probably will want to show something again, so private bool is pitching. Is pitching sounds good. If input get mouse button down 3, most likely it's 3, but now, no, most likely it's 2. But now I'm just putting a random number here, so let's double check it. Middle mouse button. Press middle click, yeah, that's 2. Good. Is pitching equals true. Return is pitching. So if we're doing something like some of those sections, then we will not pitch. We'll do it first. So if we're doing the pitch movement, then we should not make any other movements at that exact time, because that will be just too hard to process at all. And still, this blocks the hand on the same place where we started, so that's fine. And we'll actually grab at the beginning of the pitch, so... Oh, we will grab at the beginning of this. Oh, so I cannot put this is grabbing in there. Something different. Something different. What can be something different? Okay. Just let's make it. Private bool is grabbing. They will be out of sync. And now I know it, and now I can work with it. If is grabbing. So is grabbing equals true, and is grabbing equals false. Then so if it's get mouse button the hand dot grab, I'm using the same method for everything. Probably I should not. Probably I should have separate methods, so I can show different animations for the hand that we'll have there. For example, different colors. But right now I'm showing this with UI, so let's keep it like this. It's still grabbing the ground and doing something with that ground, more or less. Yeah, actually it's cool that I can show the rotation by the moving the arm in specific direction. That should look pretty interesting when we have the arm in there and not just the red circle. Okay. Get mouse button down. Let's grab. Else just if input get mouse button up to speech and false hand turn grab. Okay. Then we want to add private void initialize pitching UI private void height pitching UI, and we'll do is pitch and false here, and we'll do is come on pitching equals true here. Then we'll need again some kind of UI for that. Public game object pitching UI equals null. Actually, what we can do in there is this, if this is not null. So now any moment I want to hide this whole thing, I can do it easily. And here I'll put just question mark. So let's copy this block, because it's the same stuff. Pitching UI not equal null, then we'll do this and mouse position. And actually this stuff is here too. I don't really need the... Yeah, so I still need the initial mouse position, but I don't need to save the previous position. I don't need that difference, because I will base... Yeah, I will base current movement on something else. Nah, I will need it. Let's call it previous diff. Okay, and here we'll say that this thing should get hidden. Then let's add blah 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 blah. Let's add UI element here. Let's should be again image. This time it will not be a knob, it will be some rectangle. Do we have one? No? Okay, we'll use this sprite. It will be on this level. Can be deleted or more. Oh, come on. UI. Image. Okay, thank you. We'll put this in there, and I'll say that it should have pivot 0.5, 0.5. It should have 0 anchors everywhere. Then it should have, let's say, 10 by 100 size. I'm just making it for myself to see what is happening. I believe there are people out there who can make much better UIs in seconds. But as you can imagine, I'm not one of them. And let's copy the knob inside. And let's say, yeah, and let's say that it's public game object pitching knob. And let's call this action transform local position blah 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 if it's not null. Yeah, made in extra ifs, they can influence the entire that can influence how fast the stuff works, but it's not a big deal. And sometimes I care about stuff that's not a big deal, and sometimes I don't, which doesn't make me consistent again, but okay, so here we'll be initializing this will be height pitching UI, and there in those methods we will the hand.grab, the hand.onGrab, and here we'll do the hand.grab, and we should process the position of the hand before doing any of this stuff, but as usual. So the problem with all these initializations is that I'm moving the hand around and then I start doing some interaction, and that interaction starts before the hand is moved into that exact position, so the object sometimes lags behind. We can fix this, it's pretty easy to fix. I just need to move out this thing and this, and just need to move out this block somewhere, and that's probably what I should do anyway. For example, yes, it should be a private void process hand position, this, and hand position, and on initialize, and on initialize. I'll do this. So now I will be always sure that the hand is right in the middle of my UI, whichever the UI I'm doing, which is fine. Okay, back to this block. So diff is let's copy this part, because I believe it will be really close to what we have there. Mouse position minus initial. If the pitching knob is not null, then we'll put the position into the difference. Then if it's magnitude x math.tabs. So I don't really care about magnitude for this, I only care about x and y, because I don't want to move camera like this. It will ruin the entire image, and the moment you move it, you can never return it back. You can never understand what's happening around and why this is happening. Also, I don't have any protection for cases when mouse is moved out of the terrain so far that there is no terrain to grab on. But I won't bother thinking about that. There should be some protection, but I just cannot imagine one. So the difference with x, previous diff is not okay. So I will use the previous difference. I will set it to 0, I will set it to whatever, and then I will only calculate x coordinate difference. Nah. Yeah, the continuous movement doesn't sound right at all. So yeah, I will just calculate the difference, which is so x diff is previous diff dot x minus diff dot x. Then if I'm moving in one direction, then I should move up or down. I will need the speed for... I will use the same limiting wheel size for now, because it's just fine to use it, and it's small enough. We'll need public flow. Where do I use this? Transform, position, speed, forward, process, regular, move. What? If the hand is grabbing... What? How do I... What do I do about this? Forward... What is D? Oh, yeah, I see what that is. It's scrolling speed. Remember to name your variables properly. Otherwise, you can never find out what this stuff means. Okay, so it's still... it's pitching speed equals 1f, and we figured that 5f is a good number here. This I have no idea what 1f means, so it's just some random number. And where is that? Process rotation, process camera pitch, var angle equals pitching speed multiplied by xdiff. So I'm making an angular movement from linear movement. You should probably slow down at some point to make it feel more natural, as if you're moving this on the sphere and not on the flat surface. But it's just me thinking about stuff, it's not actually useful. Then transform dot, again rotate around. Now we're again rotating around, get position, but now the axis is vector 3 dot right. Forward, backward, let's see, it's either right or left. I believe it should be right, but... and the angle. So now we can figure that this difference, this is 100. So this difference, when it reaches 50, it should be some measurable angle. So 50 multiplied by 1 is 50 degrees, which is really too much. 0.3 sounds better here. Let's try. I will need to reset a bunch of stuff right now, because I've changed the variable names and Unity most likely forgot what they meant before. But okay, pitching bar, this, and let's see, pitching UI, pitching knob, rotating knob, 15 default, blah blah blah. Good. Apply all. And now let's run this. Oh yeah, of course I have this stuff over here. Huh? So the directions are wrong. And but something else is also wrong. Because I'm rotating around... Oh yeah, got it. Yay. So process pitching. This shouldn't be vector 3, right? It should be transform dot right. So I'm not rotating it in world coordinates. I'm rotating it in camera, in the right from camera perspective. Now it should work. Are you running? No, you're not. I wonder if F5 from Visual Studio will start the stuff. What? What? Why is not stuff moving? Huh? Let's say 2. I guess I need to debug this. Whoop. It suddenly moved. And sometimes it doesn't. Previous difference minus different.x. Oh. Yeah. Sure. There is difference between y coordinates and x coordinates. Who could have imagined? And it's waiting. I can actually make the x coordinate to rotate around the place. So the middle protects from misclicks. Oh. Yeah, I should limit the movement a bit. So as you can see, I'm moving a bit too far in here, and I'm moving a bit too far in here. So the movement should be protected from these issues. You should not be ever able to get rotation dot something more than something else. So its rotation dot y should never be less than 0, I believe. Is that the case? Okay, yeah, this is the problem with roll, pitch and yaw, is that every once in a while you can get ridiculous things from it. For example, right now stuff is turned around, and right now it's minus 52 in y coordinate, because it's just impossible to guess. I was expecting to end this today. So it's the point about what? What was this? Home. Why does this work at all? So I was clicking multiple buttons at once and something went wrong in the process. Right mouse button, middle button. Okay, yeah, sure. I wanted to put this on top and this on the bottom. Like this. Also I wanted to hide this stuff by default. No, not the main camera, this stuff. Yeah, because otherwise it would look bad. They will just be there on the start of the scene. But the issue about this, and if I do this, then this movement will bring really unexpected results all the time. So you can turn everything upside down. Still rotating around someplace. It's just... Wait a sec, so... If I'm... Okay, so... If I don't let one of the coordinates get weird, then everything should work. So it's the x-axis rotation that we're talking about here. That shouldn't get more than 90. And it shouldn't get less than 0. Okay. So it shouldn't be just return, it should be else. Series of else's. Like this. Because regardless of the movement, and regardless of whatever we were doing, we should block camera in certain positions. I would even call it a separate controller, but I'm not sure how they will work with each other. Yep, let's do this. What? Yeah, good. Remove this, then we'll create new file. We'll call it camera limiter.cs. We will copy the initial block from here. Then we'll say that it's camera limiter. We'll say public float maxx equals 80, whatever. Public float minx equals 10. And void plate update if form dot rotation is a quaternion. Euler angles dot x. So quaternions are awesome. They are really great. The only problem with them is that in this exact case they are harder to understand. Okay, got it. So they say that that people should never use quaternions for stuff, or should never use Euler. How is that pronounced? Euler angles for anything, because they are unstable and they have lock-in states where you can try to move something and nothing will move, or where some values will not be changing. And those are terrible states, and the Euler coordinates are pretty bad for graphics. But in this exact case, x is the first coordinate that is being set, so if I limit this, then nothing else should break. Hopefully. As usual, hopefully. Okay. And now back to this point. Rotation dot x equals max x transform dot rotation equals new quaternion. No. I can do the rotation, but I don't want to. Oh, I have to. I cannot put those limiters in here because I have to cancel the entire. Don't move it to recycle bin, just delete it forever. Okay, whatever. Move to recycle bin. So, problem with that plan is that I have to cancel the entire rotation. I cannot just cancel some part of it. So I cannot just adjust the value because it will not rotate around the point around which I'm rotating to get there. Like, man, where is my head? Okay, so we have one thing here, we have the other thing there, and they're rotating like this. And if we reach some point, then we cannot just move this. We have to rotate it back. That is a problem. But that is a small problem. Because rotate around. And rotate towards, from towards Euler rotation, transform dot rotation dot around, rotate around. Is there this method? Quaternion doesn't contain a definition for rotate around. Okay, good. Let's hack it around a bit, because there should be a proper way to limit this, but should there? So I want to project what rotation will happen, and if it's too much, then I want to rotate back. Honestly, I don't think there should be a proper way to do this. So let's do this public float max x rotation equals 80. Public float min x rotation equals 0 equals 10. I don't want to let them go out of some very strict limitation, because if they do, everything will get messed up, because it's Euler. Even if we get 1 degree after 90, that's it, we're done. Afterwards, nothing is going to be the same. I've been through this a couple times already, and just limit everything heavily. Oh yeah, there is set Euler angles, which I was looking for. Not Euler angles, not x. So our current rotation x equals this. if rotation x is bigger than max x rotation, then or is smaller than min x rotation, we'll just revert the entire thing. This. Run. And let's test it. Yeah, it gets stuck, Nice. The next thing to do, we'll need to add the collider to the camera, because right now you see it goes through the stuff. It has the collider, but it's not processed. And it's not as easy as it seems. Okay, so we're not doing this today, because I have to sleep sometimes. Okay, we done something with the hand when it's out of bounds. Still, we need to process collisions with camera. We'll still need to process this somehow. What we'll do, we'll use this character controller. Most likely not character controller. We'll put some just sphere in there. And we'll use the sphere to detect collisions with big objects. I think with terrain only. You can go through anything else but terrain. And if we collide with the terrain, then we'll again revert the latest transformation. Something like that. Because we're rotating quite smoothly, and if someone moves too fast, he might notice that his movement gets cancelled. For example, right now, if I do this, like if I do this really fast, then I can notice that slowly I can add some more. Yeah, I can this, and then I can add some more if I move slowly. But that's such a minor thing. And we can also modify the speed as the closer we get to that point. It will make stuff even smoother. Yeah, it will stop the rotation beforehand. Oh, that's so nice. Huh. Huh. So if I do this and for distance or speed modifier equals current rotation. I need to figure how far it is from both the, so it's math.max between math.abs of current rotation x minus max x and math. Oh yeah, so I don't need the apps. I'm sure that this will never happen. More or less sure. Math and minus min x rotation. So I will select the maximum of those. And then I will do the following trick. I will multiply this by modifier, but I will divide the modifier by max rotation as my rotation x. Probably I should slightly speed it up. by using slightly different formula. Multiplied by this, 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 and this, and this, and this. So so I'm looking for square of everything, because it will make stuff smoother. It will still behave the same way, that it will get to 0 at some point, and it will stop moving. But it will do slightly faster in some points and slightly slower in the other. And let's comment this on out. I'll still keep the protection mechanism, but it will make things much smoother. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. This modifier should only be applied if this angle is bigger than 0 and max x rotate and current rotation x is bigger than max x rotation minus x rotation divided by 2, then angle should be multiplied by this part. My math is t of these stuff divided by max rotation minus mean rotation. This. That's a big formula. It looks much more complex than it really is. In this case, and else if everything is the opposite way, is less than 0 and current rotation is smaller than this, then I should multiply by almost the same stuff, but with the first block different. I will change it into minus min. Okay, so now we've made some smoothing part on this. It means that now camera is willing to move out from the corner position, and it's not willing to move. Whoa, I did not expect that, because it got equal. No, what happened? And then it turns everything upside down. Well, that's funny. This... Oh yeah, because this protection part probably shouldn't be applied here. But that means that I'm reaching that point. Huh. So, yeah, okay. I know why this is happening. This is happening because of this. I should put strict limits. Because when with this formula... Oh, yeah, I see. It's not smooth enough. So at some point it still jumps through. Yeah, now, like, It's impossible to see it, but I can feel it that it's more smooth now. That's good. And it will be easier to cancel rotations with this modificator. I just feel it. I'm not entirely sure why, but I have a feeling that it will work. Okay, so finally I have to go to sleep. Thank you everyone for watching, and if you like what I'm doing here, don't forget to follow me on Twitch with the same workouts, and on Twitch and on Twitch and on Twitter and on YouTube. On YouTube I'm putting the records of those videos and its workouts in there, and on Twitter I do the announcements and I daily do some catching up on what happened. And yeah, before I'm stopping the stream I should check everything in. We've done camera rotations. And now we'll need to limit them with colliders. It will be a small thing, the colliders. I think I will do it tomorrow, on tomorrow's stream. It will be a really small thing, and then we'll go to interaction. Interaction should be really fun. Okay, thanks for watching. See you everyone. Bye.